one.
What is going on, guys? Daddy Lotus has a brand new batch of cards that you could jump your table with next time you show up to game night. You know the drill. Let's talk some cardboard. Make sure to like and subscribe. Let's get into it. The first card on today's list comes to us from Patreon from Dr. Odd, who wants us to take a look at Rob the Archives, even if he does hate Impulse Draw. Rob the Archives is 1 and a red for a sorcery, casualty 1. As you cast this spell, you may sacrifice a creature with power 1 or greater. When you do, copy this spell. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. Yeah, I'd like to refer to my last video where I said take out Into the Wilds from that deck. This is exactly why take out Into the Wilds from that deck. This is 2 mana to potentially get 4 cards exiled that you can play until end of turn. Save image as. Definitely gonna put that in a deck. If you're in an exile deck and you have a consistent access to tokens from your commander, like let's say PNLR Consul of Revival, or maybe a Faldorn Dreadwolf Herald. Oh, yeah, they both make tokens for casting stuff out of exile. Yeah, we're definitely going to have something to casualty. We're going to be exiling a ton of cards, making more tokens. Yuck. Thanks, Dr. Odd. This is one of the only times I got good news from a doctor. Appreciate you. I really like casualty. So, a bit of a weird one that I do like. Sequestered Stash is a land. It enters untapped. Taps for a waste. You can pay 4 and tap it, sacrifice it, put the top 5 cards of your library into your graveyard, and you may put an artifact card from your graveyard on top of your library. Land that enters untapped that can give me a bunch of mill. As a graveyard player, I like this. Also, it can return an artifact from my graveyard on top of my library, so in Taval, I could potentially get a Taval trigger off of that as well. The artifact thing's kind of like whatever. I think just having access to a pay 4, sack the land, mill 5 cards in a graveyard deck, especially in casual, I think this is pretty good. That's a good little chunk of mill on a land. Also, artifact on top of your deck, it could interact with stuff like Skill Borrower. I don't know how much we care about Skill Borrower, but there's that. Let's talk about one of my favorite MTG Arena cards to build around, Phyrexian Fleshgorger. I think this thing's just good. There's so many different ways to just absolutely manipulate this thing. For 7 colorless, we get a 7/5 menace, lifelink, ward, pay life equal to Phyrexian Fleshgorger's power. The thing is, this has also got prototype, so we could pay 1 and 2 black to make it a 3/3 with the same abilities. This card at its base level is a 7/5 with menace and lifelink, so if we blink this thing, it comes back as a 7/5 even if we paid 3 for it. If we feign death it and then sacrifice it, boom, we got a free 7/5 menace lifelink. Pay life equal to its power, it's pretty good. That's fun. Also, just a 3-drop, 3/3 lifelink menace, pay life equal to its power ward is just a good card. That's actually a great card. Actually, you know where I'm going to put this? I'm putting this in Arna. I'm putting this in Arna Kennerud. A giant thing that just gets better. I put 1/1 counters on it. I double those counters with Arna. If anyone wants to target Phyrexian Fleshgorger, they're probably going to lose the game past a certain point. This is gross in Arna. Actually, picking one up immediately. That's going to be, I don't know why I haven't put that in there yet. That's going to be gross. You know what else is gross? Sentinel Tower. A 4-drop artifact. Whenever an instant or sorcery spell is cast during your turn, Sentinel Tower deals damage to any target equal to 1 plus the number of instants and sorceries cast before that spell this turn. Am I missing something here? Spellslinger decks. You're slinging spells. I'm going to ponder, hit an opt, maybe preordain. Oh yeah, you took 6, then 5, then 4, then 3, then 2. You took like 20 damage for me casting 6 spells or something like that. That seems good to me. Am I wrong? Armory Automaton is super interesting. I have no idea how good this card is. I don't think it's that good. It does do something incredibly unique, so I wanted to talk about it. 3 for a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, you may attach any number of target equipments to it. Control of the equipment doesn't change. If your opponent has a pair of lightning greaves over there, okay, and you drop this, their lightning greaves will get attached to your Armory Automaton, but they still control the lightning greaves. So during their turn, they can go ahead and pay the equipment cost and unequip it and equip it to one of their creatures again. Go for it. But for the time being, that's ours. So if you have the right table, and I don't know what table that is, you have like 3 different Voltron decks across from you, and you drop this, that's a scary robot. I don't know how you make this thing work. I don't think there is a way to make it work. RuPaul's out there crying somewhere. Weirdly enough, if you are in a very specific Arna deck, this is kind of cool because you can make a bunch of tokens of equipments and then attach all the token equipments to Armory Automaton when you play it. That's kind of cool. Just a cool card. Moving on to some new tech for my Taval the Balance Scale deck. Deep Fathom Echo. I'm a fan. 2 a green and a blue for a 4/4. At the beginning of combat on your turn, Deep Fathom Echo explores. Then you may have it become a copy of another target creature you control until end of turn. And to explore, you reveal the top card of your library, put that card into your hand if it's a land. Otherwise, put a 1/1 counter on this creature, put it back on top, or in your graveyard. Oh, or in your graveyard, huh? So in Taval, we get a 4/4 that becomes copies of the best things we control that scales with 1/1 counters and puts cards in our graveyard? Bah, I'll give it a go. Also, make sure we're hitting our land draws. This is just good. Moving on, I want to talk about Dragonspark Reactor. This 1 in a red artifact has whenever Dragonspark Reactor or another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, put a charge counter on Dragonspark Reactor. Pay 4, sacrifice Dragonspark Reactor. It deals damage equal to the number of charge counters on it to target player, and that much damage to up to 1 target creature. I don't know why my dyslexic brain always read that it only did damage to creatures. It also does player. So here it is. That's disgusting. Oh yeah, it doesn't say non-token, so if you just make a shit ton of treasures, clues, food, anything like that, this will just get a ton of counters, and then you just crack it. So this could be a win con in a ton of different decks. Prosper Tome Bound. You're making treasures, boom. Just have this thing passively ticking up, ticking up, ticking up. Someone tries to remove it with something, you're like, I'm gonna go ahead and crack it in response, actually. Funnily enough, this is actually killer in Kilo Apogee Mine, the deck, the precon commander we talked about in the last video. Nuts in there. You're just proliferating and playing a bunch of artifacts anyway, so there's ways to double counters in that deck too, specifically charge counters, so you can get this thing up to like, oh, I have it at 6, oh, it's at 7, oh, it's at 8, yeah, I'm going to drop this, double it up to 16, and then go ahead and add one, 17. How much you at, buddy? Shadow of the Grave is an incredibly niche card, but it's also really powerful if you're in the right deck, so thought I'd shout it out. For 1 in a black, we get an instant. It's crazy that it's an instant. Return to your hand all cards in your graveyard that you cycled or discarded this turn. Oh, every wheel deck ever wants this. I'm just gonna Windfall and have everyone discard and draw for the most cards discarded, and then play Shadow of the Grave and draw all those cards back. Sorry. I'm gonna Faithless Looting into Shadow of the Grave. That's not even that good, but it's okay. Rapid Augmenter is a card I've had sitting in my binder. I have not really looked it up since I bought this precon. I thought there's no way this card's underplayed. It's way too strong. Turns out it is. 1 a blue and a red for a 1/3 haste. Whenever another creature you control with base power 1 enters, it gains haste until end of turn. Also, whenever another creature you control enters, if it wasn't cast, put a 1/1 counter on Rapid Augmenter, and Rapid Augmenter can't be blocked this turn. Oh, so when we make those 8/1/1 Krenko tokens, we put 8 1/1 counters on Rapid Augmenter, and then it can't be blocked. Again, card that is so good it could be a win con in a lot of lists, so it's also in a precon. I totally get why a bunch of precon cards get overlooked. This one definitely did. I'll put this in your Xyrus deck, drop a wheel, everyone draws 7 cards, you just flood the board with a shit ton of 1/1 snakes, make your Rapid Augmenter huge, make it unblockable, make your snakes have haste. Ugh. Put this card in your decks. It's so gross. But so is Stormfleet Negotiator. For 2 and a blue, we get a 2/2 flying. Whenever Stormfleet Negotiator attacks, each player reveals the top card of their library. For each non-land card revealed this way, you create a map token. Then each player draws a card. A map token has 1 tap, sacrifice this artifact, target creature you control explores, activate as a sorcery. Nice little group huggy kind of card draw engine vibe, which I like. A way to make a ton of map tokens if people are hitting non-land cards. All built onto a 2/2 flyer. I actually don't hate this thing. I was considering running this in Taval for a second. Creating maps, good way to get some stuff in the graveyard as well as buff some of my creatures up. But it's not really what I'm going for in that deck. Funnily enough, it actually might be pretty decent in Arna, seeing that map tokens can provide 1/1 counters. This is a 2/2 flyer, so if I put counters on this, I can start doubling those as well. I don't know. It's an interesting card. I definitely think it's cool. As a Reanimator player, I got to talk about Unseal the Necropolis. For 2 and a black, we get an instant speed. Each player mills 3 cards. Then you return up to 2 creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. You know how many creatures reanimate stuff? A good amount. You know how many cards reanimate anything from any graveyard? A good amount. So having each player mill 3 for 3 mana, I'm not good at math, but we're getting 12 cards in graveyard. Plus, returning 2 creatures from our graveyard doesn't even have to be from among the milled cards. And we don't even have to. If we just have a bunch of big stuff, we can just leave it. On top of all that, instant speed. So you really aren't wasting much mana here. Just using it during someone else's turn, passes to you, everyone's graveyard's full. Oh, you just hit something massive on the opponent. Cast a Dance of the Dead. Get that thing back under your control. Not to even mention if you're in like a mono black Valgavoth deck because you're a monster, literally. This is gross in that list, so here you go. You probably already know about it. So body count is a card I'm fairly sure I talked about before, whether that was way back in the daily card highlight days or on one of the lists a while back. There's going to be some repeats on some of these lists. I think that it's been long enough that we have a bigger audience now. Let's show some love of some of the older stuff. Body count is one of those repeats because, my God, 2 and a black for an instant with Spectacle 1, which means you can cast it for 1 if an opponent lost life this turn. Draw a card for each creature that died under your control this turn. Like, even on someone else's turn, just like 2 and a black if someone board wipes to be like, oh, I'm going to draw just an insane amount of cards because of my tokens. That's insane. Or I could just smack someone in the face with a bunch of tokens if a ton of them died during combat because they blocked. Drop a body count for 1 black, draw a ton of cards. I see like no reason in not swapping out one of my card draw pieces for this in a token deck. I feel like you should feel the same. In Search of Greatness is a card I have to talk about. I know what you're going to say. Nick, that says 15.8k decks. That's kind of 15k. It's my video. It's on here. It's going to be on here, all right? For 2 green, an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may cast a permanent spell from your hand with converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the highest converted mana cost among other permanents you control, without paying its mana cost. If you don't, scry 1. So it's got a little contingency plan. I love cards that have like a little backup, like, hey, if it didn't work out, you still get a little something, you still get scry 1. But to put it in crayon-eating terms for you, you got a Lanalore Elf in play. Next turn, you get to cheat that Grizzly Bear into play for free. You can also just think much bigger here. If you got a 5-drop, you get to cheat into play a 6-drop. You get a 6-drop, you get to cheat into play a 7-drop. I'm looking at you, Mia, with your Prime Speaker Xanathar deck. Yeah, here's another chain piece. Actually, you probably already run this in the deck. But if you don't, check it out. Change of plans. We talked about this one way back in the day. I'm talking about it again because every time I see this card, I go, oh, you know, like friggin' X, 1 and a blue for an instant. Each of X target creatures you control, connive. You may have any number of them phase out. Oh yeah, this is going in Arna. It's actually probably going to go in Taval as well. A way to protect my tokens in Taval without them going away. That's always good. A way to protect Taval. A way to potentially put things in the graveyard in that deck. Buff up some of my things. Those are all good things. In Arna, a way to protect things with 1/1 counters on them without them losing the 1/1 counters. That's very useful. And then Connive, another way to get 1/1 counters. So Nick's Lotus list becoming a put in Taval and Arna list, couldn't be me. Couldn't happen. I want to talk about Gleeful Demolition, damn it. Okay? I get it. It's fun to play an Ornithopter turn 1, then play Gleeful Demolition in like Standard and Sealed or in whatever weird little format you like, okay? And then go, ooh, it went brr. It's funny. This is just good artifact removal. Your opponent does not get the 1/1s because you only make the 1/1s if the thing you destroyed was yours. 1 mana to blow up an artifact? That's going to be a good going rate. That's infinitely better than a shatter. Sure, it's not instant speed. I really don't give a shit. With the backup case of being like, hey, I might want to crack one of my mana rocks on turn 7 or 8 and get a couple chump blockers for that big thing across from me. We're playing casual commander, all right? This isn't bad. You want to see something that really isn't bad, though. Spirit Link? Ooh. Let me explain. Yeah, you'll get it in a second. 1 and a white, enchant creature. Whenever enchant creature deals damage, you gain that much life. Yeah, it doesn't have to be combat damage. And when Spirit Loop is put into your graveyard, it gets returned to your hand. So if you're in something like, I don't know, Ragast, where you can do 3 damage to each opponent, that's really gross. Or if you're just in the enchantment deck, you know what I mean? You're gonna probably run a bunch of auras and ways to buff your stuff and make them huge. Throw a Spirit Loop on something, gain a bunch of life. If someone deals with it, Spirit Loop goes back to your hand so you can play it again, trigger all your enchantresses. Win-win. Tributary Instructor is actually really, really good, being 3 and a green for a 4/4 mentor. So when it attacks, you can put a 1/1 counter on something that's also attacking with less power than it. And whenever a creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it dies, we draw a card. That's really good. Just that passive ability. I would run in Arna. If this was 3 and a white for a 4/4, whenever a creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it died, draw a card, I would run the shit out of that. This has a built-in mentor. Green players, you're lucking out, dude. And I've been talking about it so much. If you want to check out the Arna deck, it's in the top right corner. I've got absolutely no shame. This is me posing for my thumbnail in my next video. Come at me. We've got Marchesa's Decree being 3 and a black for an enchantment. When it comes into play, it introduces Monarch, and whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, that creature's controller loses 1 life. That's right, Sharon. If they want to take this Monarch away, they're going to have to pry it through my cold, dead fingertips. Also, if you're just in a Pillow Fort deck, this is incredible. Run your Propagandas, run your Ghostly Prisons, run your Marchesa's Decrees, get some card draw from the Monarch. If any token deck tries to come at you or any go wide deck, tell them to right off. Speaking of can't go wrong, Bladegraft Aspirant might be one of the most stacked commons I've ever seen in my life. I think we might have talked about this at one point. I can't remember if it was in a deck or something, but my god, dude. 2 in a red for a 2/3 menace. Equipment spells you cast 1 less to cast. Activate abilities of equipments you cost that target Bladegraft Aspirant cost 1 less to activate. Do you want to equip your stuff for cheaper? Do you want to play your equipments for less? Do you want to have a built-in evasive creature to put those equipments on? Bladegraft Aspirant. I guess I just wanted to say, like, why not uncommon, Wizards? And I think we're going to finish it there because I wanted to talk about Blight Mamba, but a 1/1 with Infect that can keep regenerating over and over again is something that I just don't think we need to see more of on the board. So, we're finished. And if you enjoyed the video and the content, make sure to subscribe and check out the channel for more content that's similar to this content. And if you would like to become a YouTube member or Patreon member to show a little bit of additional support, it starts as low as $1, where you can submit some of your favorite obscure cards for the list we do here on the channel, as well as your EDH deck list that we go over on Friday night deck review live streams at 8 p.m. So if any of that sounds interesting, you can check out those links down below. Outside of that, though, I'm going to get out of here. Peace.